Captain Armin Tariq tightened the straps of his boots as the landing pod of the human exploration vessel touched down on Zephora. The planet's sky shimmered with colors humans had no names for, streaks of violet and emerald swirling across the horizon. Clouds glimmered like liquid metal, and the terrain was jagged yet strangely beautiful, with rock formations that seemed to float just above the ground. The human crew stepped carefully onto the surface, their suits adjusting to the planet's atmospheric conditions. Armin led the way, a seasoned explorer with years of experience surviving harsh environments across the galaxy. His team followed, their eyes wide with awe and curiosity. Zephora was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Almost immediately, something caught Armin's attention, a slope of black, glassy rocks glinting under the alien sun. He slowed his pace, studying it carefully. The rocks were uneven and slippery, yet fascinating. "We need samples of these formations," he said to his crew. "They might tell us about Zephora's geology, maybe even its history." Armin carefully stepped onto the slope. The rocks were slicker than he anticipated. His boot slipped, and in a split second he lost his balance. He tried to catch himself, but gravity and momentum worked against him. His body hit the ground with a harsh crack, pain shooting through his legs and ribs. He groaned but pushed himself up, inspecting his injuries. The sharp ache told him he had broken bones, possibly many. Yet his first thought wasn't panic. It was curiosity. "Well," he muttered with his signature dry humor, "this makes exploration more interesting." From the shadows of the rocks, shimmering shapes began to move. The Varelians had arrived. They were tall, luminous beings, their translucent skin glowing softly under Zephora's strange sun. Multiple eyes and delicate antennae moved in precise patterns as they observed him. Their long, graceful limbs suggested strength and dexterity. Yet their expressions were unreadable to human eyes. The Varelians communicated through melodic tones, harmonies that resonated in the air rather than using words humans could hear. A device on their chest translated these sounds into human speech, though it was still formal and strange. "Are you suffering, human?" it asked. Armin tried to smile, ignoring the pain radiating from his body. "Suffering?" he said with a small chuckle, testing the translation device. "I've had worse." The Varelians froze, their multiple eyes widening in surprise. The words were simple, but the meaning puzzled them. How could a creature endure so much damage and still speak lightly of it? Their curiosity turned into fascination. Carefully, they approached him, their glowing hands scanning the broken bones with precision instruments that floated in the air. The devices hummed softly, capturing every detail, analyzing every fracture. The aliens' technology was far beyond human medicine. They could detect even the slightest internal damage without touching him. Armin, lying on the sharp rocks, allowed the scanning. The pain was there, sharp and insistent, but his focus was on the study of the aliens now. He noticed how precise and careful they were, how their movements were almost like a dance. "You're very thorough," he said, "but you've never met a human in the field, have you?" A soft tone emitted from the Varelians, a sound that the translation device interpreted as, "Humans are resilient beyond our understanding. Your species endures beyond limits." Armin shrugged, grimacing as he shifted slightly. "We call it experience," he said. "We survive, adapt, and keep going. Pain is just part of the journey." The aliens seemed to process this carefully. One of them extended a limb and gently lifted Armin, their touch surprisingly delicate. He felt the extraordinary strength behind their soft movements, like a predator holding a feather. They carried him with care toward a structure that glowed softly against the rocky terrain, a medical observation chamber. Inside, the chamber was filled with floating instruments, holographic monitors, and panels that displayed anatomical scans in real time. The walls were semi-transparent, glowing with a calming luminescence. The air itself seemed alive, vibrating softly with alien energy. Armin lay down on a platform that adjusted to his body automatically. The Varelians scanned him again, their instruments highlighting broken bones in bright blue lines. 17 fractures were detected in his arms, legs, ribs, and even minor cracks in his shoulders. The Varelians emitted harmonic tones, a combination of curiosity and concern. "You have 17 broken bones," one of the Varelians stated through the translation device. "Your species should not survive this." Armin grimaced, testing the pain. 17, huh? "Not bad," he said. "I've been through worse. A few training accidents, a crash landing on Moon Xylon, a hoverbike collision." He paused, noticing their wide-eyed expressions. "We humans, We push ourselves. We explore. We adapt. This is nothing unusual for us. The aliens were silent, processing his words. One of the younger Varelians approached and emitted a sound the device translated as, "Your spirit is stronger than your body. How does it persist through such damage?" Armin smiled faintly despite the ache in his chest. "Because giving up is never an option. Pain ends. Curiosity doesn't." He let himself relax as the alien instruments began to repair the fractures, each bone glowing softly as the Varelians' technology realigned them. The process was painless, almost magical, and yet Armin's awareness remained sharp. He looked around, noticing details he hadn't before, the way the instruments moved as if alive, the soft hum of energy in the room, the light reflecting off the Varelian's semi-transparent skin. "This is impressive," he said quietly. "I've never seen technology like this. You could heal almost anything." The Varelians paused, their tone carrying a hint of thoughtfulness. "We can restore the body," they said, "but only the human spirit allows survival in adversity. You endure more than your body should allow." Armin nodded, feeling a strange sense of connection with these beings. "Survival isn't just science," he said. "It's determination, courage, humor, and stubbornness." He allowed himself a small laugh, grimacing as his ribs protested. Some of it is just refusing to admit defeat. The Varelians recorded every word, their multiple eyes observing his every micro-expression. The human's attitude, his willingness to joke even when injured, fascinated them more than the medical technology itself. Here was a species that could not only survive injury, but celebrate resilience, turning weakness into something almost honorable. After the scans and repairs, Armin sat up slowly. His bones felt stronger, though the soreness remained. The Varelian stepped back, observing him. "Will you continue your exploration?" one asked. Armin looked at the rocky slope he had fallen from, the alien horizon stretching endlessly before him. "Of course," he said with determination. "Pain is temporary. Discovery is forever." The Varelians exchanged tones among themselves, a sound of intrigue and admiration. They had never encountered a species like this, one whose strength was not measured by technology or power, but by willpower, spirit, and endurance. As Armin led his team onward, he noticed how the aliens followed silently, observing, learning. Each step he took, even with caution, impressed them further. He didn't just survive, he inspired. His attitude, humor, and courage were living proof of human resilience, and the Varelians were beginning to understand that humans were more than explorers. They were survivors, warriors of endurance and pioneers of spirit. By the end of the first day, the humans had set up a temporary camp on Zephora. Armin sat outside, staring at the strange stars, his body aching but his mind alert. The Varelians observed from a distance, their curiosity growing with every word, movement, and laugh from the humans. Armin murmured to himself, almost as a challenge to the alien observers. 17 broken bones. I've had worse. And I'll survive 100 more if it means seeing this world. And in that moment, the Varelians realized human survival was not just biological. It was something deeper, unquantifiable, and extraordinary. The next morning, Zephora's twin suns rose slowly, bathing the jagged landscape in warm orange and green light. Captain Armin Tariq woke with soreness in every joint, the echoes of 17 broken bones still lingering in his body. Despite the ache, his mind was alert. Today, he and his crew were to meet the Varelian Council, the leaders of the planet, for further study and conversation. The humans stepped into the glowing transport pod, its floor reacting to their weight, guiding them gently as they moved. The Varelians accompanied them, their luminous forms gliding effortlessly, their harmonic tones filling the air like music. Every movement of the aliens was precise, graceful, almost choreographed. As the pod ascended, Armin looked out at Zephora from above. The surface below shimmered like a mosaic, jagged rock formations rising in impossible patterns, rivers of glowing liquid threading through canyons, and forests of crystalline plants bending gently in the wind. It was beautiful and dangerous, a planet as alive as it was alien. The pod landed in a vast chamber, circular and towering, walls lined with flowing holographic screens showing data streams and symbols unfamiliar to human eyes. The Varelian Council waited, tall, imposing yet elegant beings, each radiating a soft light from within. Their multiple eyes studied the humans carefully, observing every movement, every subtle change in expression. Armin stepped forward. Though his body protested, he stood tall. "Greetings," he said, voice firm but calm. "I am Captain Armin Tariq, leader of the Earth exploration crew. We come in peace, eager to learn and share knowledge." The council responded in a chorus of tones, the translation device producing words that were soft, melodic, and formal. "You have endured injury beyond what is expected, yet your spirit remains strong. Tell us, human, how do you survive so much and remain unbroken?" Armin allowed himself a faint smile, though shifting caused a jolt of pain through his ribs. "It's simple," he said. "Humans adapt, we endure, and we don't give up. Pain is part of life, and life is part of exploration. We keep moving forward no matter what." One of the Varelians tilted its head, multiple eyes focusing on him in curiosity. "We repair bodies," it said. "But you do not rely solely on repair. You persist through suffering. This is extraordinary." Armin chuckled softly. "Experience may be stubbornness. We train ourselves for this through sport, work, exploration, and sometimes accidents. Every challenge teaches us how far we can go. We don't always succeed, but we survive." The council seemed intrigued. They motioned for Armin to follow them deeper into the chamber. Here the walls displayed human anatomical scans alongside alien biology. The comparison fascinated the Varelians. They had never encountered a species that could survive repeated injuries with such resilience and spirit. The humans were guided to a platform that adjusted to each of their bodies. The Varelians floated above them, instruments orbiting in the air, scanning, measuring, and recording. Armin noticed the way they worked. No sudden movements, no force, just careful, deliberate observation. Their technology was advanced beyond anything he had seen. Yet their fascination was not with the tools, but with the humans themselves. 17 broken bones, a Varelian said softly, observing Armin's scans again. "Your species should not survive this. Your skeleton, your internal organs, how do you endure?" Armin shrugged, wincing slightly as a rib protested. "We endure because we have to. Because giving up isn't in our nature, and because sometimes we just refuse to let pain control us." The council took note, their tones a combination of wonder and admiration. One young Varelian approached, its glow pulsing softly. "You speak lightly of pain. You even joke. How can you find humor in suffering?" Armin leaned back slightly, trying to ease the tension in his back. "Humor helps," he said simply. "It reminds us that life is bigger than one injury, one failure, or one bad day. We laugh at pain, not because it isn't real, but because it doesn't define us." The aliens remained silent for a moment, processing his words. Slowly, they began emitting harmonic tones that filled the chamber with a soft vibration. The translation device produced a simple phrase: "Your resilience is beyond our calculations." "You are remarkable," Armin smiled faintly. "We humans don't think about remarkable. We think about what's next. The challenge, the discovery, the adventure. That's what matters, not the injury." After the initial scans, the Varelians invited Armin and his crew to observe alien medical technology up close. Floating instruments, glowing beams, and holographic skeletal models demonstrated techniques that could mend any injury within moments. Armin watched carefully, noting how precise and elegant the procedures were. "You could heal almost anything," he said, turning to the council. "Your technology is amazing. But humans, we rely on our willpower as much as our bodies, maybe more." The Varelians seemed to consider this, exchanging harmonic tones. They had never seen a species with so much determination beyond physical repair. They realized human survival was not only biological but also mental and emotional. To further understand, the council asked Armin to recount human experiences with injury, survival, and endurance. He shared tales of harsh training camps, extreme sports, climbing dangerous mountains, crash landings on unknown worlds, and dangerous exploration missions. Each story carried pain, risk, and sometimes failure, but also triumph and growth. The Varelians listened, absorbing every word, every subtle expression. They began to see a pattern. Humans seek challenges that would defeat other species, yet they persist, learn, and overcome. Their society, their history, and their individual experiences were built around pushing limits and enduring the impossible. "Your species thrives in adversity," a Varelian said finally. "Where others collapse, humans endure. Where others retreat, humans explore." Armin nodded. "That's accurate. We explore because the unknown fascinates us, We endure because survival is part of who we are. We take risks, yes, but only to discover, to learn, and to grow. The council studied the scans again, noting how Armin's broken bones had healed faster than normal human biology might allow. Though still imperfect, the Varelians realized that human recovery was aided not only by biology, but by sheer will and determination. Their technology could repair bodies, but the human mind played an equally critical role. As the day progressed, Armin observed the Varelians in return. Their curiosity was genuine, almost childlike, tempered by centuries of knowledge. They asked questions, not aggressively, but with careful precision. Each inquiry designed to understand the human's approach to pain, endurance, and courage. "You endure more than your body should allow," one said. "Yet you continue to smile, to joke, to explore. How does this spirit persist?" Armin thought for a moment, flexing his fingers to test the strength in his hands. "Because life is bigger than any injury. Because every challenge is an opportunity. Because we believe we can overcome more than what seems possible. And sometimes, because giving up isn't an option." The aliens recorded every word, every gesture, every micro-expression. Slowly, they began to emit tones that the translation device rendered as, "The human spirit transcends limits. We must observe further." By evening, Armin and his crew were allowed to rest. They returned to their temporary camp, setting up near a glowing river of alien liquid that shimmered with colors unlike anything on Earth. Armin sat quietly, reflecting on the day. Despite the aches in his bones, he felt a sense of accomplishment. He had not only survived but had inspired a species centuries ahead of humans in technology. One of the Varelians hovered nearby, observing him silently. "You are unlike any being we have known," it said softly. "Your endurance is legendary." Armin smirked faintly, though the pain in his shoulder reminded him he was far from fully healed. "Legendary, huh? Well, we humans like to keep a good reputation," he said with a wink. "Besides, 17 broken bones isn't the end. It's just the start of the adventure." The Varelian studied him for a moment longer, then pulsed a warm light as if acknowledging his words. For the first time, they seemed to understand, not fully but enough to respect what humans were capable of. Survival, endurance, humor, courage. Humans carried it all naturally. That night, as Zephora's twin moons rose above the horizon, Armin lay awake in the camp, thinking about the planet, the aliens, and the path ahead. He knew the Varelians' fascination with humans would only grow. They had seen not just a body that could heal, but a mind and spirit that could endure and inspire. He murmured to himself, almost defiantly, 17 broken bones. I've had worse, and I'll endure 100 more if it means seeing this world, and learning from it. In the glow of Zephora's moons, the Varelians watched silently, a mixture of wonder, curiosity, and admiration reflecting in their translucent forms. Humanity had made an impression, a lasting one, and the stage was set for further discovery, challenges, and mutual understanding. The following morning, Zephora glimmered under the soft light of its twin suns. Captain Armin Tarek stretched carefully, testing the strength in his legs and arms. Though the soreness from 17 broken bones still lingered, he felt ready for whatever the Varelians had planned. The council had arranged something unusual, a series of challenges designed to test the humans' endurance, intelligence, and adaptability. While their technology could repair any injury in moments, they wanted to see human resilience in action, to understand why humans could endure far beyond what the Varelians considered possible. The humans followed their alien guides to a massive chamber, circular and open, its floor a shimmering surface that adjusted to each individual's movements. Above, platforms floated in the air, and walls shifted to create obstacles, pathways, and hazards. The Varelian's voice, soft and melodic, echoed through the chamber. "This trial will measure your body, your mind, and your spirit. Proceed if you are willing." Armin glanced at his crew. Each member nodded, determined. "We've survived worse on Earth," he said. "This will be no different. Pain is temporary. The challenge is permanent." The first test was zero-gravity navigation. A dome filled with swirling lights simulated a low-gravity environment, objects floating freely. Humans had to move from one platform to another, avoiding floating obstacles and reaching a central beacon. Armin leaped into the dome, his muscles tensing as he pushed off a platform. At first, the zero gravity disoriented him. Floating too far, he twisted mid-air, feeling the strain in his recovering ribs, but instinct and experience kicked in. He adjusted, twisted again, grabbed a handhold, and propelled himself forward. The Varelians watched with fascination. Even when Armin collided lightly with a floating panel, he laughed, shaking his head. "Not bad for a human in recovery," he muttered, spinning toward the next platform. Each minor failure didn't discourage him. It made him more determined. Next came the extreme temperature zone. A long corridor was divided into shifting climates, from scorching heat to freezing cold, with sudden gusts of icy wind and bursts of thermal energy. Humans had to cross without losing focus or control. Armin and his team moved steadily. His bones ached, but he focused on breathing and balance. The freezing zone made his muscles stiff, but he pushed onward. The heat burned, sweat dripping into his eyes, yet he endured. The Varelians recorded every reaction. The way he adjusted, how his body resisted fatigue, how his mind stayed alert despite physical strain. "You endure more than we calculated," one Varelian said softly to the council. "Your species surpasses our expectations." Armin reached the end of the corridor, his lungs burning, his body trembling, but a grin spread across his face. "Piece of cake," he joked, though the crew knew he meant it only half seriously. The Varelian seemed puzzled by humor in such extreme conditions. The third challenge was an obstacle maze, filled with jagged rocks, moving platforms, and pitfalls. The humans had to navigate using both skill and strategy. Armin led the way, analyzing each obstacle carefully. He climbed, jumped, and ducked with precision, teaching his crew to do the same. At one point, he slipped, landing hard on his side. Pain shot through him, but he pushed himself up, muttering, "A little stumble never stopped us before." The Varelian's eyes widened. Their instruments had measured every impact. His body should have been exhausted, but he kept moving. His determination, more than his strength, propelled him forward. Midway through the maze, a platform began to tilt unexpectedly, sending Armin and a crew member sliding toward a pit. With quick reflexes, he grabbed the edge, pulling both of them back. The Varelians emitted harmonic tones that translated as incredible reflexes. The human mind reacts faster than expected under pressure. The final test was mental, a puzzle requiring strategy, memory, and focus. Panels lit up in complex sequences, and the humans had to replicate the patterns while avoiding distractions. Armin's mind, sharp despite the physical strain, quickly understood the sequence. He guided his team, combining logic and observation to solve the puzzle in record time. The Varelians recorded everything. "Not only do humans endure physical challenges," one said, "but they also maintain clarity of thought, leadership, and teamwork. Their spirit is extraordinary." Armin paused, wiping sweat from his forehead. "We don't see it as extraordinary," he said. "We just adapt. Every challenge teaches us something. Pain teaches, failure teaches, even fear teaches. We survive because we learn and keep moving forward." The Varelians emitted a sequence of tones that vibrated softly through the chamber, a sound interpreted by their device as, "You embody resilience, intelligence, and courage." Few beings possess all three in such balance. After the trials, the humans were allowed to rest in a chamber designed to simulate Earth-like conditions. Armin sat on a bench, stretching slowly, feeling the aches in his body. His crew gathered around him, exhausted but inspired. "You led us well," said Lieutenant Mira Shah, rubbing her arm. "Even with all those broken bones, you never slowed down." Armin smiled faintly. "That's what humans do. We don't stop for pain. We don't stop for fear. We keep going." He looked out the chamber window at the glowing landscape of Zyphora, and sometimes it's not just survival. It's proving to ourselves that we can endure more than we thought possible. Later, the Varelian Council approached. "Your species surpasses our expectations," they said. "You endure where others would fail. You lead where others would hesitate. Your courage and determination are inspiring." Armin nodded, acknowledging their words. "Thank you. But it's not about inspiration. It's about survival, learning, and growing stronger with every challenge. We humans don't give up because giving up isn't in our nature." The council seemed to consider this carefully. They had observed countless species across galaxies, but none had displayed this combination of physical resilience, mental clarity, and unshakable determination. Humans were unlike any other life form they had studied. One young Varelian, glowing softly, approached Armin. "Your species' endurance is unmatched. How do you maintain spirit when the body is injured? Armand thought for a moment, flexing his fingers to test the healing in his arms. Spirit is stronger than the body, he said. You can break bones, you can face danger, you can suffer loss, but the human mind, the human heart, keeps moving forward. Pain is temporary. Spirit is permanent. The Varelians seemed to pulse with light, a gesture of acknowledgement. For the first time, they seemed to truly understand a human's resilience, not just measure it. Armand realized that their curiosity was turning into respect, a quiet admiration for what humans could endure and achieve. By the end of the day, the humans had completed every challenge. Exhausted, aching, but undefeated, they gathered near the edge of the observation zone. Zyphora's landscape glimmered in the evening light, rivers of glowing liquid reflecting the twin suns, crystalline plants bending gently in the wind. Armand looked at his team, then at the observing Varelians. We survived, he said, voice tired but proud. Not because we're invincible, but because we refuse to quit. Humans endure because we have to and because we believe we can. The Varelians emitted harmonic tones again, which the translation device rendered as, "Your species' endurance and spirit are unmatched. We have observed greatness in many forms, but humans embody resilience unlike any we have known." Armand allowed himself a small smile, his body screaming in protest, but his mind calm and alert. "Greatness?" he muttered. "We just survive and keep moving forward. That's all humans do." As the sun set on Zephora, painting the sky in shades of violet and emerald, Armand felt a strange sense of pride. Not for himself alone, but for humanity as a whole. Even on a distant world, among a species more advanced in technology and knowledge, humans could endure, adapt, and earn respect through courage and determination. And in the glowing eyes of the Varelians, he could see it, the first seeds of true admiration for the human spirit, a respect that would shape their interactions for years to come. For Armand Tariq, for his crew, and for humanity, the challenges of Zephora were only the beginning. Pain, risk, and adversity were familiar companions, but so were courage, humor, and the unshakable determination to survive, explore, and overcome. 17 broken bones had been just the start. The trials of Zephora had proven one thing: humans endure and they inspire even the most advanced species with the strength of their spirit. The morning on Zephora began quietly, almost peacefully, with the twin suns casting soft light over the jagged terrain. Captain Armand Tariq and his crew were inspecting geological formations near their temporary camp, still recovering from the intense training and trials of the previous day. Suddenly, a strange vibration shook the ground. The crystal-like plants trembled, and rivers of glowing liquid rippled violently. From the horizon, a storm approached, a massive energy storm unlike anything humans had seen. The sky churned with violent colors, and arcs of energy crackled in the distance, threatening the alien city and its inhabitants. "Everyone, back to the camp," Armand shouted. His voice carried authority yet calmness. Despite the ache from his previous injuries, he sprang into action. His crew followed, trusting his leadership. The Varelians were in disarray. Though technologically advanced, their systems were struggling against the unpredictable force of the storm. Buildings shook, protective shields flickered, and citizens ran for safety. Armand realized that this was more than a test. It was real danger, and lives depended on quick thinking and courage. Without hesitation, Armand took charge. "We need to help the injured first," he ordered. "Then we secure the vulnerable zones." "Stay together!" His team split, following his lead. He sprinted toward a group of trapped Varelians whose floating platforms had malfunctioned. Energy arcs danced around them, threatening to throw them off balance. Armand leaped onto a platform, steadying it with his hands. His ribs ached sharply, but he ignored the pain, focusing on the task. One by one, he helped the Varelians regain balance and move to safety. The aliens watched in awe. None had ever seen a being endure such physical strain and act decisively under extreme danger. Next, Armand noticed a fallen bridge over a glowing river of alien liquid. Varelians were trapped on the far side, unable to cross. Without hesitation, he grabbed a nearby control panel, manipulating it to stabilize the structure. Sparks flew, and one misstep could have thrown him into the river, but he stayed steady. "Hold on," he shouted, helping the aliens across. As the storm intensified, electrical surges hit machinery, and fires erupted in parts of the city. Armand ran through the chaos, lifting debris, guiding injured aliens and extinguishing small fires. His body screamed in protest, his ribs, arms, and legs reminding him of previous injuries, but he moved with relentless determination. One young Varelian, trembling and glowing faintly, approached him. Your species, you endure pain we cannot imagine. Armand helped them stand upright, brushing debris from their luminescent body. Pain is temporary. Life is not. We survive because we have to, and sometimes because it matters to others. Hours passed in a blur. The energy storm lashed at the city, yet Armand led rescue efforts with precision. He coordinated humans and Varelians alike, guiding them through hazards, stabilizing damaged areas, and keeping morale high. At one point, a section of the city's energy shield faltered, threatening a collapse. Armand climbed the structure, ignoring every pang of pain. Sparks leapt around him, energy arcs threatening to strike. He worked quickly, stabilizing the shield while instructing his team from above. Almost there. Hold steady. Finally, the shield hummed back to full strength, saving hundreds of lives. By the evening, the storm began to subside. Exhausted but alive, Armand and his team surveyed the aftermath. Buildings were damaged, streets torn, yet the majority of citizens were safe. The Varelians were silent for a moment, then erupted in harmonic tones that the translation device rendered as, "You saved countless lives. Your endurance, courage, and leadership surpass any we have witnessed. You are heroic." Armand, panting and covered in soot, allowed himself a small smile. "Just doing what needed to be done," he said. "Pain, danger, it's all part of being alive. We survive, we help others, and we keep going." That night, as Zyphora's twin moons rose, the Varelian Council formally recognized Armand and his crew. "Your actions today show not only physical resilience but a spirit beyond measure," they said. "Your species earns respect through courage, determination, and compassion." Armand nodded humbly. "Respect is earned, yes, but so is survival. We humans survive because we must, and we do what needs to be done for those around us. That's all." The council observed him closely, now fully aware that human endurance went beyond biology. It was a combination of willpower, courage, and selflessness. The events of the day had proven humans could not only survive but inspire and lead. Even under impossible circumstances, Armand reflected quietly, thinking of the 17 broken bones that had started this adventure. "Pain is nothing," he murmured. "Courage, focus, and heart, those are what matter. And that's what we humans bring to any challenge." The Varelians recorded every word, every gesture, every subtle expression. They had studied countless species, but none had faced chaos with such combination of resilience, intellect, and leadership. Humanity had proven itself on Zyphora, not through strength alone, but through spirit, courage, and determination. The following morning, Zyphora was calm, the aftermath of the storm visible in glowing scars on the landscape, and the faint hum of repairing energy shields. Captain Armand Tarek walked through the city with his crew, observing the repairs. Varelians moved around them, still glowing with curiosity and admiration. The council summoned Armand to a ceremonial chamber, larger than any human building he had seen. Holographic displays floated in the air, recording every detail of the storm, the rescue, and the humans' actions. The Varelians were silent as Armand entered, their glowing forms filling the room with a soft light. "Captain Armand Tarek," the council began, their voices harmonized through the translation device. "Your actions have saved thousands. Your species has shown endurance, courage, and determination beyond measure. You are worthy of a title reserved for the most revered of our kind, the Unbroken." Armand felt a mixture of pride and humility. "I am honored," he said quietly. "But it was not just me. My crew, the people of Earth, and even the Varelians who followed our lead. All of us together ensured survival. Humans endure because we rely on each other, and because we refuse to stop." The council nodded in understanding. "Your species teaches us a lesson. Endurance is not only physical but also mental and emotional. Spirit can overcome limits that technology alone cannot." Armand smiled faintly, recalling the previous days, the trials, the pain, the 17 broken bones, and the storm. "We humans don't think in terms of limits," he said. "We push, we endure, and we learn. Every challenge makes us stronger, not weaker. That's our way." The Varelians seemed to absorb every word, their glowing bodies pulsing softly in rhythm. They had always valued knowledge and technology, yet they had never truly understood resilience like that of the human spirit. Humans endured, laughed, and inspired, even when facing impossible odds. After the ceremony, the council invited Armin and his crew to stay and share knowledge with the Varelians. Workshops were organized, where humans demonstrated survival techniques, strategies for endurance, and approaches to overcoming extreme challenges. Armin worked alongside the aliens, showing them the subtleties of human movement, tactics, and decision-making under pressure. He emphasized not just physical strength but mental resilience, teamwork, and humor in adversity. The Varelians listened, learned, and adapted, amazed by how humans turned hardship into opportunity. One young Varelian approached him quietly. "Your species laughs at pain, perseveres through injury, and acts without fear. We cannot fully understand, but we respect and admire it." Armin nodded, feeling the weight of centuries of human survival in his words. "That's because humans have to adapt," he said. "We face danger, pain, and the unknown constantly. We survive not because it's easy, but because it's necessary, and sometimes because it's worth helping others along the way." Weeks passed. Humans and Varelians worked together, sharing knowledge, exploring Scifi, and documenting its mysteries. Humans taught resilience. Varelians shared technology. A bond of mutual respect formed, stronger than any alliance of convenience. Finally, standing atop a crystalline hill overlooking the glowing rivers, Armin reflected on the journey. He remembered slipping on the black rocks, the 17 broken bones, the trials, and the storm. Every event had tested him and his crew, but it had also shown the strength of the human spirit. He turned to the Varelians observing nearby. 17 broken bones? I've had worse, he said with a faint smile. The aliens laughed softly, their understanding limited but their respect absolute. That night, Scifi's moons rose, reflecting on the rivers and mountains. The humans had earned not only survival but admiration, respect, and a place in the hearts of an alien species. Humanity had proven that courage, endurance, and spirit could shine even in worlds far beyond their own. And Captain Armin Tariq knew this was just the beginning. Humanity would continue to explore, endure, and inspire, showing that no matter the danger, humans are unbroken, unstoppable, and unforgettable.